The aircraft dominating today's headlines isn't a bomber or a carrier. It's the F-22 Raptor, shown refueling over the Middle East while attention once again turns toward Iran. This is the same stealth fighter that led the opening phase of the March 1st operation, clearing the way for everything that followed. Months into the conflict, Iranian radar systems still reportedly have not managed to lock onto it. At nearly the same time, the President of the United States made a striking remark in the Oval Office, saying Iran would be given a chance before what he described as decapitation. That statement immediately intensified speculation about what could happen next. Over the past 24 hours, the messaging has become even more confusing. Qatar says draft agreements are circulating. Iranian officials insist there are no negotiations with the United States. The American president says discussions are taking place. Then came a lengthy statement posted by President Donald Trump on Truth Social. According to that statement, Iranian leaders are privately requesting meetings while publicly denying any discussions. It also claims Iran continues insisting it is dealing only with Oman while making public declarations about controlling the Strait of Hormuz. The statement argues that the United States Navy already controls the maritime situation through what it describes as a wall of steel, adding that nothing reaches Iran without American approval unless a deal or complete surrender is achieved. It ends by repeating that Iran will never possess a nuclear weapon. Those competing messages create a familiar picture. Iran publicly rejects negotiations while reports continue suggesting conversations may still be taking place behind the scenes. At the same time, Iran continues supporting the Houthis despite growing pressure on its own economy. Reports indicate another drone targeted a Saudi airport earlier today. 6 Saudi tankers are reportedly sailing around Africa instead of using the Red Sea. Inside Iran, authorities have asked citizens to reduce electricity consumption as the country faces power strain along with fuel shortages, despite its vast energy resources. Today's main focus, however, is the F-22 Raptor. Only about an hour before this report was recorded, U.S. Central Command released new footage showing an F-22 receiving fuel in flight. That image sends a message beyond simple aerial refueling. One capability often overlooked is the aircraft's ability to carry GBU-39 small-diameter bombs and GBU-32 dams inside its weapons base. Those weapons remain concealed within the aircraft, allowing it to preserve its stealth profile. Combined with its ability to supercruise, the Raptor can reportedly reach heavily defended areas that would challenge many other aircraft. If future strikes against Iranian leadership or IRGC facilities were ever ordered, the F-22 could perform missions extending well beyond traditional air-to-air combat. The broader security picture is also expanding. China has increased military activity around Scarborough Shoal with warships and missile-equipped bombers. Turkey has demonstrated new capabilities with an unmanned fighter aircraft. Italian Marines also boarded a tanker connected to Russia's sanctioned oil network. We'll return to those developments shortly. For now, attention remains on Iran. For months, Iranian officials have maintained that they control the Strait of Hormuz and could counter advanced American stealth aircraft. The latest imagery from U.S. Central Command appears intended to reinforce a different message. The diplomatic contradictions continue as well. Iran has instructed citizens to conserve electricity while simultaneously projecting confidence abroad. Oman appears to remain a preferred intermediary, likely because Tehran considers negotiations through Muscat more manageable than direct dealings with Washington. Iran also maintains significant influence around the Strait of Hormuz, while Oman has comparatively limited naval strength in that area. Meanwhile, the United States continues maintaining a major naval presence, reinforcing what American officials describe as a powerful maritime security posture. Current indications suggest communication between Oman and Iran continues, while U.S. officials also indicate discussions are taking place. Public denials may serve domestic political purposes as Iran manages electricity restrictions, fuel shortages, and increasing economic pressure. Maintaining public confidence appears increasingly important as those shortages continue affecting daily life. Meanwhile, concern reportedly continues growing inside Iran over the possibility of renewed military operations targeting senior leadership. Should such operations occur, aircraft, including the F-22, along with F-15s and F-18S, could potentially play important roles. Today's spotlight, however, belongs to the Raptor. Powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney F-119 engines with thrust vectoring capability, the aircraft can maintain supersonic speed without relying continuously on maximum afterburner. That improves fuel efficiency while also reducing infrared visibility compared with sustained afterburner flight. Only 186 F-22s were produced before manufacturing ended in 2011. Ironically, production stopped because no comparable adversary appeared to justify additional aircraft. Recent operations have placed the Raptor back at the center of attention. It has appeared in operations involving both Venezuela and Iran. During the March 1 operation, the Raptors reportedly entered first, targeting Iran's S-300 and Bavar 373 air defense systems. According to U.S. officials, those systems were suppressed, opening corridors for follow-on aircraft. Across the following 9 days, Iran launched dozens of surface-to-air missiles. U.S. officials said none successfully tracked or locked onto an F-22. The aircraft's internal weapons configuration is a major reason for that performance. GBU-39 small-diameter bombs and GBU-32 dams remain housed inside the aircraft rather than mounted externally. External stores increase radar visibility, while internal carriage helps preserve stealth characteristics. That explains why F-22s generally carry external fuel tanks only while transiting long distances. The aircraft also operates as part of a much larger system. U.S. Central Command has previously described layered strike packages involving B-2 bombers and EA-18G Growlers. While Iranian radar operators searched for stealth aircraft, electronic warfare platforms simultaneously disrupted the frequencies required to detect them. None of that would be possible without aerial refueling. Today's images also highlighted the KC-135 Stratotanker crews supporting those missions. Refueling dramatically extends the combat reach of aircraft like the F-22, allowing fighters to top off before entering hostile airspace and again after completing their missions. Air-to-air refueling remains one of military aviation's more demanding tasks, particularly in poor weather or high-pressure operational conditions where every minute matters. While naval forces continue restricting maritime movement, American air power is also maintaining pressure overhead. Recent drone launches toward regional partners may explain why additional F-22 missions continue appearing. Even if the aircraft is not always responsible for engaging those drones directly, its advanced radar provides significant detection capability. Iranian officials, however, continue issuing warnings. Major General Ali Abdali, identified as head of Iran's wartime military command, accused the United States of accelerating the risk of wider regional conflict. The IRGC also declared it retains full control of the Strait of Hormuz and warned that outside powers would not be permitted to interfere. Those statements come despite the strait serving as one of the world's most important international energy routes, used by vessels from numerous countries, including customers purchasing Iranian oil. The rhetoric continues, but military realities remain visible. Iran's ballistic missiles remain a genuine concern, with previous launches reaching Jordanian airspace before interceptions were reported. At the same time, continued sanctions and restrictions are placing increasing financial pressure on Tehran. Recent strikes targeting infrastructure around the Strait of Hormuz, combined with F-22 deployments, maritime enforcement efforts, and expanding sanctions, have intensified that pressure. Reports also point to significant inflation inside Iran as those economic constraints continue. Elsewhere, major developments unfolded across several regions. Near Scarborough Shoal, a Chinese Type 071 amphibious transport dock entered disputed waters accompanied by at least 2 H-6K bombers carrying YJ-12 anti-ship missiles, along with a KJ-500 airborne early warning aircraft. China's Southern Theater Command described the deployment as protecting national sovereignty. Observers viewed it differently, noting the formation operated roughly 120 nautical miles from the Philippines in what appeared to resemble blockade preparations using operational warships and missile-equipped aircraft. Turkey also reached another milestone with its unmanned fighter program. On July 25, the serial production aircraft opened its internal weapons bay and released a Rocket Centaur 82 guidance kit fitted to a Mark 82 bomb during testing. 3 days later, it conducted another successful release using the Aselsan Talon penetrating glide bomb. According to reports, this marked the first time an air-to-ground unmanned fighter released munitions from an internal weapons bay while preserving a lower observable profile. The final story involved a tanker operating under the Cameroon flag after reportedly changing registration only a week earlier. Italian Marines boarded the vessel in daylight as part of actions targeting Russia's sanctioned oil network. Taken together, these developments point back to the larger strategic picture. Iran appears eager to conduct negotiations through Oman while avoiding the appearance of direct engagement with Washington. At the same time, the United States maintains a substantial naval presence around the Strait of Hormuz, allowing commercial traffic to continue while enforcing pressure on Iran's shipping. Reports indicate millions of barrels of oil and more than 1,000 ships have continued passing through the strait since the conflict began. That maritime presence limits Tehran's options while increasing pressure to pursue diplomacy. Domestically, Iranian authorities continue asking citizens to conserve electricity as shortages of fuel and power persist. Publicly acknowledging negotiations with the United States could complicate those internal challenges, making official denials politically valuable even if discussions are occurring behind closed doors. For now, the combination of military deployments, economic pressure, and conflicting diplomatic messages suggests that events remain highly fluid. And with aircraft like the F-22 continuing to feature prominently in official imagery, every new development is likely to be examined even more closely in the days ahead.